Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another mini reading. Just a reminder, we are going to be doing these Sacred Union mini readings rather than the full in-depth readings that I usually have on my YouTube channel just for the next couple of weeks, as I am still in the process of moving and selling my home and a lot of physical changes and settling in. So hang in there with me. We are going to have a lot to come in the new year. I'm really excited about the changes that are coming. So hang in there with me. We will be back with the more in-depth readings. But today we're going to be doing the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine check-in. Today I wanted to really ask about what is the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine working on. So we're going to be looking a little bit more into the ascension energies for the counterparts. What are they working on? What are they surrendering? How are they feeling about their ascension? How are they healing? And what are their current energies? We'll also look at how are they feeling about each other. So let's dive right into it. So the first question that I asked was, what is the Divine Masculine working on? And I was not surprised at all to see the card self-expression. This is the throat chakra energy. Throat chakra energy is all about self-expression, communication, being able to really step into your true authenticity and embrace that, embody that, express that. That is through communication, but that's also through creativity, that's through embodiment, that's showing up as you are, not being afraid to really express the truth of who you are, the really soul of who you are. A lot of these divine masculines had really been in a distorted energy of suppressed feminine energy, where they had been blocking their emotions, blocking communication, blocking their own self-expression, blocking their true heart, blocking their true feelings. That was ego. That was self-protective mode. That was their self-defense mechanism based on trauma, pain patterns, etc. that they had experienced in the past. So they were really in this shutdown area or place. And that's societal conditioning as well, especially for those who are the more masculine energy, but especially for those who are male masculine energies. Shutting down the emotions, being very stoic, not letting anybody see the real you, not letting anybody see you be vulnerable, not allowing for true intimacy, which is depth, which is communication, which is vulnerability. That was real conditioning based in our society. That was old programming. And so the Divine Masculine is really learning how to tear away those layers of the blocks, the programming, the patterns that really said suppress yourself, that really told him to not be vulnerable, to not share the heart, to not share the emotions, to not feel at all, to really say you have to be X, Y, or Z. You can't be A, B, or C. You can't be your true divine self. You can't be who you want to be. You have to adhere to this expectation or that expectation. So there was a real block here for the Divine Masculine with regards to who they are. A lot of them had really been trying to fulfill obligations or duties or expectations of others and not really allowing themselves to just feel fully free in who they are. And a lot of that freedom comes from self-expression. Divine Feminines, we know this. The more we allow ourselves to feel our emotions and set them free without judgment, without attachment, the more free we feel within ourselves, the more authentic we feel within ourselves, the more honest we are with ourselves, and the more we can develop deep connections with others because of that vulnerability, because of that intimacy. Intimacy is really just revealing yourself, going deep with yourself, and going deep with another. Of course, use discernment. You don't need to share what is sacred with every other person. But for those deep connections, especially the soul connections, is all about expressing yourself, really standing up for who you are, really allowing your voice to be heard, expressing your needs, expressing your wants, expressing your desires, expressing your emotions when you're sad, when you're angry, and having those feelings, expressing those feelings without judgment, without blame. that's what Divine Masculine is really learning right now. And for the past several weeks, we have been discussing the Divine Masculine. This has been part of their life lesson as a collective. This has been part of the Divine Masculine collective energy of healing. But especially over the past several weeks, we've been talking about this in our readings, where it's really the feminine energy which is rising within them. And again, that feminine energy is the one that feels and expresses the self, and the emotions are a part of that. The more that they are able to tap into their emotional center, to their heart center, the more they are allowing themselves to embrace the full nature of themselves. And what I'm hearing now is that union for the Divine Masculine. Union for the Divine Masculine is really allowing themselves to embrace and embody the full spectrum of their emotions without judgment. Allowing themselves to fully express themselves in their full authenticity. Divine Masculines really come at it from a different angle than the Divine Feminines. I should say they approach their ascension a little bit differently. They approach their inner union a little bit differently. The energy that I'm getting is their inner union is really going to start being anchored in when they begin, and they are beginning now, but when they begin to really embrace and accept the full spectrum of their emotions, allowing for that vulnerability. Because the more they do that, the more they are accepting of the feminine energy within them, and that is what is going to begin to really bring them into balance, bring them into that union with themselves. Because through their emotions, they're going to start really understanding themselves better, acknowledging themselves better, and allowing themselves to form better connections to themselves, to source, to their counterpart, and to others. Masculine energy is really about logic, rationale, practicality. But for them to really understand their emotions, it's like another doorway is opening for them. It's like another aspect of themselves is being revealed to them. And they are learning so much about themselves that they had not understood before. They had not been able to be free. They weren't free to express that for themselves before. I feel like these Divine Masculines are like this bird where they're just recognizing how closed off they were, and now they're just ready to sing the song of their soul. They're just ready to feel so free in themselves. And the key for them is understanding their emotions and allowing themselves to really feel their emotions and embrace their emotions, embrace that feminine aspect of themselves, and express that to the world. So it's not just expressing who they are as a soul, their authenticity, but it's the key aspect of their emotions that we're tapping into here. It's the key aspect of allowing themselves to be vulnerable with themselves and their emotions that are really playing a crucial part for these Divine Masculines as they are ascending. Over on the Divine Feminine side, we have self-esteem, and this is the solar plexus chakra. This is all about the self-empowerment that we've been channeling for the past several weeks, months. This is all about her recognizing her worth, recognizing her value, really stepping into her emperor energy. It's really that divine feminine energy, that empress energy. And I say emperor energy because she really is coming into that union with herself, where she is balanced between both of the polarities, where she is recognizing, here is where I need to step up as my own emperor, as my own inner masculine, and here is where I need to step in as my true divine core feminine essence. So she is really in her place of sovereignty. This really feels like Empress energy, but I'm also getting Nine of Pentacles energy, which is very independent, which is very sovereign, very self-empowered. She is just, it's almost like there is this new lease on life. She is magic. She is divine. She is sacred. She is recognizing the mystical nature of herself. She is recognizing the magical nature of herself. She is just blossoming. This is a beautiful energy of flourishing. So I feel like divine feminines are really learning how to step into this power. We have here, sometimes I'm scared of my own magic and divinity, and I do feel like this is what she's battling at this time, but that is what she's overcoming here. She's really learning her own self-empowerment. She's really learning to have those healthy boundaries, to be able to express herself, to stand up for herself, to really be in that balance of the masculine and the feminine again. Just really be in a place of peace and to follow her peace. So she's in her energy of flow. She's in her energy of listening to her own intuition, to her own guidance. She is in this energy of building a physical foundation for herself, building a new life for herself, just following her heart, listening to her intuition, connecting so fully to herself and to God's source as one. She is just in a place of stability, increasing stability, and that's coming from her recognition of herself, not giving herself away to others, really anchoring in to embody this divine essence where she is having that healthy balance between give and receive, between it's like the flow of everything. She's really in this energy of the flow of everything. So divine feminine, you are really anchoring in and embodying. You're walking your walk, talking your talk. You are a shining example. So I do feel like there are still some kinks that are being worked out, still some tweaking that's been happening, especially as we move through the month of December. There's a lot of light codes that are coming in, a lot of energy that is coming in to support both counterparts in their ascension journey. For the divine feminine, I do feel like this is her recognizing through tests, through challenges, more and more of how she has transformed, how she is continuing to transform, and how she is continuing to anchor into her own self-empowerment, not giving herself away, but really anchoring into self-worth, self-value, confidence, that sense of connection to herself. So well done, divine feminines, and keep going. We're going to stop here. If you're watching on Instagram, make sure that you go over to YouTube for the full reading. Okay, we're going to continue on with what needs to surrender, or what is the current energy of surrender for the divine masculines. Let me put it another way. What is the divine masculine currently surrendering? And over here we have surrender your ego. And I feel like this is in alignment with what we were channeling here for self-expression. So this ego is resistance. It is that self-defensive mechanism. It's that self-protection mechanism. The ego isn't necessarily a bad thing. We have to learn to integrate the ego. We don't get rid of it. We don't kill it off. We heal it. We integrate it. We acknowledge it. But we learn that the soul speaks louder. Again, divine masculine learning how to really sing their soul song without that fear. And that's what they're surrendering here. They're surrendering that fear. They're surrendering that resistance. They're really learning how to let go of that self-protective mode that had really been, it's almost like barbed wire around the heart is what I'm seeing. They had really been protecting themselves out of fear of being hurt because they had been so hurt in the past. These divine masculines are incredibly, incredibly sensitive, and that is a beautiful thing. But this society, this lifetime, our world has told us that it is not a good thing to be sensitive. How many of us as light workers who are truly sensitive have heard, don't be so sensitive, or don't cry so much, or don't be so upset? The more we learn to acknowledge our emotions, again, without that judgment, the more we are connecting to ourselves, not holding on to the emotions. We release them. We acknowledge them and let them go. We release them without attachment, without that judgment. But to suppress the emotions, to hide them away, is a very distorted program. And we're learning how to let that go. Divine masculine especially had been called to suppress that part of themselves. And so through that, they really learn to hide themselves away behind the ego, behind that survival mechanism, that defense mechanism. And so what they're doing now is they're surrendering that. They're surrendering the defense mechanism. They're learning a whole new way of being. So with that, they're learning how to release the resistance to the surrender. They're releasing the resistance to themselves. They're releasing the resistance to feeling their emotions, and thus releasing the resistance to expressing the full sacred soul of themselves. Divine feminines over here are releasing unhealthy relationships and resentment. And I feel like she has been in this process where she is recognizing where there was a lot of unhealthy patterns in relationships, family dynamics, work partnerships, friendships, whatever this is. She's really beginning to open her eyes to see where there's a lot of toxic programming that has been in her life that had really affected her. And I feel like she's been through the gauntlet of emotions where she was really feeling a lot of upset and releasing a lot of anger around this, a lot of resentment around this, a lot of it for herself. She might have been projecting that onto others, but it was really about herself, where she was saying, how did I stand for this for so long? How did I not have these boundaries? How did I not speak up for myself? How did I not really where did I allow this? Where did I keep allowing this pattern to play out? And so she has been in this process of surrendering anything that is toxic, anything that is interfering with her peace, and she's releasing a lot of the emotions that went along with that. I don't feel like she's necessarily berating herself. I don't feel like she is blaming herself or criticizing herself. It's just almost like she's received a lot of clarity on herself. Oh my gosh, where was I, really in a toxic energy myself, or allowing myself to repeat toxic patterns or allow for toxic energy in my life? That's part of her transformation. That's part of this self-empowerment energy where she's just no longer allowing any drama, any chaos, anything that is less than peace into her life. And I'm also hearing anything that is less than conscious interaction. Conscious communication, conscious interaction, conscious relationships, anything less than that, she's just not allowing that because she's in a brand new energy. And so I do feel like she's a little bit in this process of surrendering that old energy and moving through, it's like a purge. She's releasing and moving through the emotions that were tied to the past. How did I get myself engaged in this communication, this toxic communication? How did I allow myself to get caught up in this toxic energy or in this unhealthy conversation or whatever it was? Her eyes have really opened to how she had given herself away to others or allowed for unhealthy energy into her life. Now, a lot of that unhealthy energy that she was allowing into her life was because of her own distortions, because she wasn't having healthy boundaries, because she didn't know how to speak up for herself, because even that's what she was conditioned to believe love was. Remember, the divine feminine energy, the distorted feminine energy, was extremely overgiving to the sacrifice of herself. And so she was trying to receive love, not from a place of her own self-empowerment, not from a place where she recognized that she was deserving of it, but trying to claim it from a very distorted angle. And so that's where she invited in a lot of toxic energy. And so now she's like, nope, anything that's disturbing my peace, I'm not allowing it anymore. I'm not allowing any toxic energy or any of the elements like drama, chaos, whatever it is that comes along with it. She's in a very healthy mindset now, and so she's naturally releasing anything that is not aligned to that health, that vitality, that self-empowerment, that worth. She's releasing all of that, and she is naturally drawing more positive energy towards her. Do remember to take the masculine and the feminine energies as they relate to you at this time. Both energies might actually be resonant for you for your own inner work. These two kind of feel like they're mirroring. The more she is expressing herself, which is the masculine energy, surrendering the ego, really releasing the resistance, allowing yourself to express yourself, that's the masculine energy within you as well. So remember, it's not just your masculine embodied, this is for both of you, or this is for your own inner masculine and your own inner feminine as well. Okay, so this is my Ascension Connections deck. It's a double deck. We first look at the Ascension Confessions, the raw, the real, the tough of the journey. What is the divine masculine going through at this time? I feel like I don't have any control over my life, and I'm struggling to trust my higher guidance. That is the ego that they are surrendering at this time. Really feeling like it's almost like a dark night of the soul, but it's not quite that. I don't feel like they feel so lost. I feel like they just feel like they are a little bit blindsided, like they are just kind of needing to trust in the universe is what they're saying, needing to trust in the universe. So that is the ego that is surrendering. The ego, again, likes to predict, likes to understand, likes to know where you're going. But once you really surrender the ego and you listen to the soul of yourself, you're recognizing that you are just needing to be present. And from that presence, everything unfolds and everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. Everything is perfect in the moment. Everything is being divinely guided and supported. Trusting in the present moment is something that the divine masculine is really learning to do right now, but it's making them feel a little bit out of control of themselves because they have lived so long in control, trying to force things, trying to manipulate things in their favor. Now, this was not coming from a nefarious place. This was just a pattern. It was just a trauma response. It was a self-protective mode or survival mechanism to control things, because it makes you feel like, when you feel like you have some sense of control, then it's a false sense of security. And so that's what they're really releasing with this surrendering their ego. They're releasing that sense of security, but what they're doing is they're learning how to trust in their higher guidance. That's what they're doing at this time, releasing that sense of security, that false sense of security of the ego, and really learning how to trust in the soul of themselves. But it's making them feel a little bit out of control because they're not used to this quite yet. But they're working through it. And I do feel like they are aware of this. This is the ascension, ascension expressions part of the deck, which is, the healing part of the deck, the hope part of the deck. And what they're doing is they are acknowledging this. They're acknowledging, hey, I know that I'm having trouble. I know that this is what I'm going through right now. I know that I need to surrender. I know that I need to release control. I'm just having a hard time doing it. I'm having a hard time finding my worth. I'm having a hard time trusting myself because of that. But I recognize that and I'm working through it. So I do feel like this divine masculine has a high level of self-awareness at this time, and they are working through it. Over on the divine feminine side, we have, sometimes I'm scared of my own magic and divinity, which we already discussed. She is recognizing her power, but she is not entirely comfortable stepping into her full power. But I do feel like she is working through that. I'm ready to fall in love with life again. She is really, I feel like she's excited about life. I feel like she feels like there is a breakthrough coming, a new beginning coming for her, where she is really building a new foundation for herself. She's still working through her own stuff. She's still working through her own, learning how to embody this, learning how to really exemplify this, learning how to really anchor this in, because she has not fully been in her power, in her magic, in her divinity. She has not fully embraced herself throughout her lifetime. Again, she had been very suppressed in very physical ways as well. I'm hearing the word humiliated. So she could have been humiliated, especially in work environments or in home life, where she had to dim her own light. And now that she's learning how to shine her light, it's a little bit nerve-wracking for her. Now, I'm getting a mirroring energy between the two of you. So do you see how it kind of works? You guys are working at it the same thing from different perspectives, from different angles. You're both acknowledging that there's work that you're doing. You're both acknowledging that there are things that you're not used to, that things that still make you a little bit uncomfortable, but you're working through it. So for the divine masculine, they're not comfortable with surrender. For the divine feminine, she's not comfortable with surrender. This is both surrender. He's not comfortable with surrendering control. She's not comfortable with really embracing her power. So it's a real beautiful mirroring and balancing that's happening here. It's almost like what I'm actually seeing is there's a 0 point in the middle. And what I'm seeing is the masculine is coming at it from this side, approaching it from the left. Divine feminine is approaching it from the right, just for example. So it's very interesting energy here. Okay, then I wanted to check in on the current energies for both of them, get a little bit deeper. And we have the 6 of Cups and the 9 of Wands. And I do feel like the divine masculine is really working on inner child healing. I feel like they're really going deep within themselves to acknowledge that, but they've been through a battle and they're a little bit weary of it. It's almost like they have been doing so much work and so much introspection. these divine masculines might have been in a bit of hermit mode. They might have been a little bit in solitude, reclusive, because they've been doing some deep dives within themselves. And so I feel like they feel like they've been through a battle and they're a little bit weary. And I'm hearing, I don't know how much more I can do. I don't know how much more I can do. Divine Feminines, we have been there. But that is when you have the biggest breakthrough. So keep going, Divine Masculines. This also really feels like reunion energy. So I do feel like the Divine Masculine wants to reunite with their counterpart, wants to offer something that they haven't been able to before. But again, they're feeling a little bit war-torn. They feel like they've been through battle after battle within themselves. And so I feel like it might take a little bit of time. However, these cards came out, the Ace of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. The Hierophant is my ascension card, my higher level of ascension card, awakening. So I do feel like they really are learning about self-love for themselves. They really are working and wanting to work in partnership with their divine counterpart. And I'm also hearing with others. So I do feel like this divine masculine might be turning to others as mentors at this time. This could be shamans, this could be healers, this could be counselors, this could be friends who are in a similar place on their own ascension or awakening journey. But I do feel like there is some kind of community around them where they are really learning, taking in information and really understanding things from a new perspective because of these people who are coming in as their mentors. And these are mentors who are of the light, who really have the highest good of the masculine in mind, who are really coming in to serve the masculine at this time. So I really do feel like this is an energy of self-love, filling up their own cup on self-love, wanting to work together with themselves. When I say with themselves, I mean with their divine counterpart, with others, to continue to ascend higher. This is growth. This is just an energy of growth here. For the divine feminine, we have the High Priestess, we have the Eight of Cups, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. And I do feel like she is really working on trusting her intuition, having faith within herself, receiving that higher guidance, and not just acknowledging that higher guidance, but she's in balance with her masculine energy, so she's acting on that higher guidance as well. Really moving forward in her life, walking away from anything that just isn't serving her. Again, it's that surrender of the unhealthy, surrender of the toxic energies. She's walking away from anything that is no longer aligned to her, and she is creating a new life for herself in the physical. This is like the Ten of Cups, but very physical, very tangible. She is creating her new beginning. She is, and the new beginning is in the highest alignment of love. So even though it might take some walking away of old energies, of past patterns, even surrendering of old relationships or old patterns within those relationships, it's because she is really walking towards the Nine of Cups, the Ten of Cups, but in a very physical manner with the Ten of Pentacles. So she is really focused on her physical world at this time. This could be home, this could be family, this could be relationship, this could be career, but it's something that is very, very physical. Okay, we're going to end with how are they feeling about each other. So over on the divine masculine side, we have it is safe for you to love. And I feel like the more they are learning how to surrender their ego, the resistance to themselves, the more they are opening up to their counterpart and the connection. And the more they are allowing themselves to feel their emotions and thus express their emotions, it's like that barbed wire that I was getting in the beginning, that is just falling and disintegrating, so that all that's left is that open heart. They're really learning how to be vulnerable because they're learning how to understand themselves and accept themselves. And the more they do that, the more they recognize it is safe. It is safe for me to be me. It is safe for me to be loved. It is safe for me to be loved by another. It is safe for me to love another. So they're really learning how to open their heart and feel that love. And the more that they are opening up that heart, the more they're wanting to give. And that had not always been very easy for the divine masculine, again, because their emotions had been very suppressed in the past. So they weren't quite capable of giving what they wanted to give, especially to their counterpart connection. But they're really understanding what this connection means to them. They're really understanding how you have always been there for them, how you have always been a shining light for them, and that it is safe for them to open up to this connection fully, but it's only because they have learned or are learning how to open up to themselves and really recognize and understand themselves in the full capacity of love. Over on the feminine side, we have true love. She is really opening up to, this feels like the same energy. This feels like feeling safe to trust in love, feeling safe to trust that she is worthy of being loved in the highest respect, being cherished, being honored. And I feel like she is recognizing her feminine energy and that she herself should be respected, honored, and loved in a way that she had never been previously. So because she's doing that for herself, because she is choosing herself as her own true love, she is opening herself up to allowing others to view her in that light as well, to allow another to love her and honor her as she has always wanted to be loved, how she has loved others. She's recognizing that true love can exist and that it is for her. I feel like through this journey, she had really begun to have a belief where maybe true love is not meant for me. But the more she comes into her inner union, the more she comes into this self-empowerment, the more she's recognizing, I am my own true love. And because I am my own true love, I can see love reflected everywhere around me. And I can naturally align with a connection with somebody who reflects that back to me, that I am worthy of true love and that this is true love. So really beautiful, beautiful energies of healing and hope for these counterparts. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for tonight. I'm sending you so much love, so much light, and we'll see you next time. Bye.